You're looking at me dressed up like an idiot. I got a license to do donations for my pet therapy that I did with Satin. We went every day to Portland, not every day, but Portland Adventist Hospital. We went quite often. But it does take a lot of money because I have to groom her. I always groomed her before going to the hospital, and she was always clean. And it took gas. It's 18 miles one way and time. I usually coordinated it with my doctor's appointments. And because I was having really bad issues from the after effects of having anemia for 2 years and then a double bowel resection, I had two resections. And I had an arteriovenous malformation, which is an aneurysm like. And then one day I was walking through the hallways with Satin, and I think she was dressed up like a butterfly, and the doctor looked at me. He stopped me in the hallway, and I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He says, "Is that Dr. Satin?" I says, "Yes, Dr. Satin." He goes, "Oh, can you take her onto the ICU bed too?" He says, "I have a patient that has been in a coma for 73 days, and we can't bring her out of the coma, and I'm afraid she's going to die." So he says, her favorite thing is a black lab. Will your dog sit in the bed with her? I says, "Yep." And she had a bouncy bed. I says, "Satin is trained and very well mannered, and she won't mind any of the equipment or sounds. She's just really awesome dog." So I took Satin in there, and he says, "We're trying hard to pull her out of the coma, but she's just going deeper, deeper down." So we put Satin in her bed, and this girl Heidi had been in a coma for 72 days. I'm telling her name because she agreed that this is okay to share. But and this was 15 years ago. So anyway, Heidi's mom was really excited that this big black lab was in her daughter's bed. She was 23 years old, a school teacher, and she had gotten botulism poisoning from her grandmother's canned soup. There's Satin. See how cold? She's cold there because of that gel pack. But anyway, we put Satin right into Heidi's bed, and her mom goes, "Heidi, there's a black lab right there." And her mom placed Satin's, her daughter's hand right on top of Satin's head. See how silky her hair looks? It was an amazing coat that she had. She was a guide dog a trained guide dog, but for some reason it didn't work out. I forget what it was. Nothing horrible. But anyway, Heidi's mom was stroking her hand on Satin's head, and after maybe, I don't know how long, 10, 15 minutes, Heidi took her finger and she put her finger, Satin's ears, in between her finger and went like this. And her mom was just ecstatic that her daughter had done something on purpose. And I used to give out cards to patients with our picture. And 10 years after I'd given this woman a card in the hospital, she said she saw me in the grocery store and she goes, no, it wasn't 10 years, 5 years later. It was, Satin was really old then. She says, "Oh, I have your dog's picture when you came to visit me. Remember me? I was in room such and such." And she brought out the picture. It was very tattered and worn. She says, "Oh, that was the best experience. That really helped me get through that hospital stay. It was just horrible, but having your dog come visit me just made all the difference in the world." So pet therapy is just a very wonderful thing. So Heidi kept stroking Satin's ear, and then pretty soon she tried to lift her head up, and her eyes, she tried to open her eyes. And then her hand moved onto Satin's head, and that brought Heidi out of the coma after 73 or 74 days. Everybody was just abuzz with emotion there in the ICU because of her coming out of the coma. This is Larry's church when he was a little kid. There's Larry and his brother Grant. Grant died of liver cancer. It was sudden. And there's his dad. La Mesa Church in San Diego. So the doctor says, "Oh, can you come back tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh dear, I'm going to be going to Kauai tomorrow, and Satin is going with me." And he says, "No, you can't go. You can't go. Heidi needs Satin to come visit her." This is my dear friend Lolita. I painted those pictures of the roses for her. She passed away very unexpectedly. This is her daughter, Tricia. She died from anaphylactic shock to latex. So please take allergies seriously. It devastated everybody who loved Lolita. She shouldn't have died. But anyway, I told the doctor, I'm going to Kauai and Satin is going with me. He says, "Oh, no way, you can't take your dog." I says, "Oh, but I'm going to be over there for a month or two, almost 2 months." And he says, "Is there any way that you could leave your dog?" I says, "No, because the laws are I have to be the one there and I'll be in trouble." And he says, "If I arrange it," I thought, oh my goodness, I needed my dog with me. She's my service animal. This is La Mesa, looking at Mount Otay, San Diego, east of San Diego. Larry's parents live right here. This is their home. Neil Armstrong lives across the street. The astronaut lived across the street. A lot of wealthy people there. This is Mount Helix. This is where I did some drug bust. Undercover cop. So, there's Larry's parents' home. It was built 50 years, 60 years ago. But anyway, so that's the church Larry attended. And that's Vesta. She's 105 now. She was a professional pianist. She has a couple of records. Larry's mom was also a professional pianist. So the hospital CEO contacted me and said, "You know, your dog really is healing a patient and I'll take the brunt. I'll cover everything for you leaving your dog. So and your husband can bring her." So my husband took Satin with him to visit the patient in the hospital, and Heidi came completely out of her coma then. There's Dan and Lolita, my precious friend. Dan has been Larry's really good friend since 1978. He's a cardiology specialist. And Lolita is gone. We went to Kauai a couple of times. We went to the Florida Keys. We had so much fun with them because we always had extra tickets to share with him because Larry flew too often for Motorola. But anyway, I left Satin with Larry, and he went to go visit Heidi, and Heidi just came completely out of her coma. She was healed. She got much, she really suffered. And then she went to rehab for a year. I think she lived down in the Eugene area. And then one day I saw her walking into the hospital carrying a baby puppy with her. And guess what that puppy looked like? You guessed it, a black lab, just like Satin. She was just ecstatic. She had always wanted a black lab, and now she got one. Oh, Lolita, if only you knew how much I missed you. I'll see you again. It hurt so much when she died. It threw me into a terrible depression. There's Dan's sister, her daughter, and Lolo. We've been friends since 1979. There's her backyard there in El Cajon. But, so Satin spent 5 years going to Portland Adventist as a therapist until this one doctor, a neurologist, said he did not want a dog near his patients. And he demanded that there be no more pet therapy. So this is the reason Portland Adventist, the only hospital in the Pacific Northwest, does not have pet therapy. Can't believe, what a brat, Dr. Brat. Anyway, can't believe it. So, Lolita was always getting in wrecks. She was such a ding-dong, but I loved her. Still do. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So the blue towel